What is up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to Orb on the Movements of the Earth, this time with episode 20. Another fantastic episode last week, looking at having a great look at Yolenta as well as Nowak's conviction. In a way, kind of Yolenta's, I wouldn't say new conviction, but just her kind of uprising, I guess, of her conviction, and her unfortunately again having to kill people and such for that, which has ended up being a bit of a curse. And then that kind of coming around to Nowak, who's is getting his conviction back, and I'm just again super excited to see where it's going to go. Eventually, at some point, Yolenta and Nowak are going to intersect, I do imagine, and again, absolutely can't wait for it. Do let me know what you guys think about this episode though down in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. And let's see what we got today. Oh no. I mean, she is a loose end, but hell no. Yes. Hey. So that's what comes from a good mentor right there. That's what comes from working under a good person, not just a smart person. Awesome. Awesome. Like, again, I like how that's come back round as well. Seems a lot of stuff comes back round in this show, which is just great writing, but in terms of giving Draka a chance here and not just putting out that flame so early, which could have happened to her a few times now already. Like, she's very lucky to be alive. Very lucky. So annoying playing this song on like a playlist because it's so short. It's really annoying. So I've got to go back and put it on loop a couple of times. Just can't get enough of it. I think that's the thing as well. Like, openings, it's a weird thing for me. I used to react to a lot of openings. I don't do too much nowadays, but usually on like the first listen and such, I mean, sometimes you fall in love instantly with a show, with a song or an opening, but usually it takes a lot of time to warm up, and a lot of the time for me it depends on how good the show is as well. If it raises the emotions for me during the episodes, that really kind of lifts the opening up for me as well. A good example of that was Persona 3, which I played recently finished, which I didn't initially like the opening song too much, but as I played through the game and come to care for the characters and such, it really grew on me a hell of a lot. I wouldn't say this grew on me because I always liked the opening, but it's like it has grown on me even so a lot. Just because again, come to actually you feel the series in the opening. That's something amazing about Japanese openings in general, in my opinion, that they're so focused towards the show rather than just picking a random pop song and putting it at the start of your show. But you see a lot of Western shows do. They just like pick a popular old song in some cases and it's slightly well, but the lyrics don't actually apply to the show. Even though I can't even understand Japanese, you can that comes through. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The big question. If you're meant for heaven, why are you born in the first place? Why are you not killed as soon as you're born? So he's trying to prove that point. Okay, that makes sense. Kind of goes with a little bit of Schmidt's thought process as well. So makes sense. These guys are working together. Fair enough. I mean, you would try and make sense of a thing like that. Like it's so awful when something like that happens to such a young person. You're like, why? And fair play to him for actually like devoting his life to proving his answer to her. Again, when I question stuff like that, it's just like I don't have an answer. Why do such young kids get like cancer and have these horrible illnesses that kills them within like a year or something? It's like, why must that happen to them? Fortunately, that's just the luck of things, I guess. Like again, I don't really have an answer, but it just feels so wrong that it should be a thing. What would you say about babies, though? Is that not something we make from nothing? I mean, he's got a good point, don't get me wrong, but that's surely like the one miracle exception, right? Relationships, like things you can't see, stuff like that, like bonds. Isn't that also not something? Like, he makes a great point. Like, you can look at everything humans do, we just take, and manipulate and change into stuff to benefit us from nature and so on. Recently, luckily, we've been kind of giving back in that regard and trying to help the environment, which is good. But so again, that's not the physical coins right there. That's the meaning she's placed in them and her father. But that again, that's like the bonds thing I was talking about. We do create things from nothing. Like in the universe, it's a bit of a weird point, but it's saying like 500 years. I mean, with like books and stuff, it helps, but you're not going to like remember the emotions of people like 500 years ago. You can summarize the kind of civilization's kind of mood and what if they're in a depression, for example, or something like that. You can say like there was a Great Depression, but you'll never be able to encapsulate everybody's feelings and everyone's bonds and relationships throughout like the history books and stuff. And inevitably, that stuff will be lost to kind of time. I'm a little bit lost where I'm going with this, but those things they are also just as they're lost to time. They're kind of created out of nothing as well. They're like there will be no evidence of you having a relationship other than like again kids, but like if you have if you, not a romantic relationship, say you're like you have like a best friend, like there'll be no evidence of that within 100,000 years, like no evidence whatsoever. But does that make that bond any less real and any less created from nothing and is an actual thing, if you know what I'm saying? Like it is a thing, but it's not there. Like again, there's no evidence of it. You can't touch it, but it is. You know, you have a bond with someone. It's like yeah, I think that's a bit of like a miracle as well. Not quite in the same way as a baby, because again, you are kind of creating a physical kind of being. But I do see those as like a couple of exceptions of what Schmidt just said there. Again, as with pretty much all things, you can kind of poke holes in people's kind of ideologies and stuff like that, can't you? I think again, Schmidt makes some fantastic points, and he made some great points there for sure. Humans are very negative in that regard, but there is exceptions. So it's like one evidence that will be in the history books is all these people's convictions to make these books real and become part of history and teach. Apologies, I did kind of lose myself a bit there. I think she's dead set on dying quite soon, isn't she? 10%. Oh, it does now. You've involved yourself in it. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't personally agree with all of that, but that is very well laid out there. Like, I can get behind it. Again, I didn't believe in that myself, but I can definitely get behind that kind of train of thought, especially with the history kind of stuff she was talking about there. In terms of there being that linear line, I guess yeah, there isn't too much distinction between good and evil. Sometimes it can seem like doing something evil when you're doing something good, and you go through evil things or perhaps do evil things to achieve a greater good, like she said. But again, I wouldn't say I agree with all of that, but I can definitely get behind and support quite a lot of her thought process there. Again, I'm an atheist, so inevitably there's things in there I don't agree with, but yeah. So I did just need to pause for a minute, just so there's a lot of a lot of stuff going on right now, so pause for a second, get my head back in order. I do especially agree with this history though. You see history repeat itself a lot. That's what I've been wondering. I'd hope to see it. Yes. It'd be like a giant barrier. She's like being pushed back, but she's got a giant brick wall behind her of history, keeping her upright. Quite a powerful image. Oh, it's childish in a good way. Again, that was a powerful speech right there from Yolenta, wasn't it? Like I said, and with many things in this show, you don't have to agree with everything. I didn't agree with some of what she said there, but again, it's just powerful hearing these guys' convictions and their thought process towards stuff like this, isn't it? Really interesting. I feel like nowadays a lot of people just it seems more and more people just dismiss other people's thought processes like that and just like, oh, I don't think the same. So why would I listen to you? But yeah, I just feel like a lot of people's opinions and such are quite dismissed in that regard now, aren't they? And it seems worse than ever. Well, I don't know if I'd say worse than ever, because again, during times like this, people are getting killed for stuff like that. But I wouldn't say people are getting like literally killed for that nowadays, but like in people's minds, that person is like dead to them. Like their words mean nothing. So it is almost quite similar in a funny way. See a lot in politics. That's why I don't really engage in politics and shit like that. It's like she's about. It's amazing, isn't it? Because he does believe that she is dead, but it's almost like his daughter is actually dead as well in a sense, because that's not the yeah. I mean, I worded that pretty horribly. He believes that she's dead, but like the little innocent girl that he thought she is kind of dead as well, in a sense, if that makes any sense. But here we go. The reunion. Will they even recognize each other? Hope so. There is the brick wall of history. Damn. Just for an instant. Holy crap. Fucking blew myself up. Jesus. Just for an instant, man. Holy crap. I want to go back and watch that. Sorry, guys. That was a beautiful scene there, wasn't it? Damn. And that's also like I mentioned earlier about like the bonds and stuff that history doesn't pick up on, and things like that. It's like it's amazing how history can pick up on, like, and sometimes moments like these, which are literally in the universe for a split second. The creation of the universe. Again, I'm no scientist, so I don't know too much about it, but I think the universe was created just like that, and like moments like that can, like, just like split second moments can be some of the biggest moments, some of the most powerful moments in your life and in history, and it's just incredible to think about, isn't it? Sometimes it takes your whole life to work towards something like this. Sometimes something like this happens within a split second. What a scene this is, though, man. It feels so nostalgic, doesn't it? And it wasn't even that long ago. I think that's a good word for this series. It really just feels like super nostalgic, even though it's like still ongoing, and like, yeah, it's got that kind of warm feeling to it. Look at her face there, as she, as with all of the heliocentralists, is what I call them, that same beautiful look of acceptance. Oh boy, well, that is Badani, Okshi, and her now. I'm gonna put the glove on her. Well, I can attest to that. Man, that is quite a sad image right there, honestly, isn't it? Holding his daughter's hand like that. Martyr. Yeah, the exact definition of a martyr, but I think that is a sacrifice for the sake of an ultimate goal, isn't it? So I kind of like that in terms of. I mean, obviously, it's terrible this had to happen. It did have to happen, though. Again, I like the fact that she made it factual. Again, they could have easily just tried lying about this, but I think that adds an extra bit of power to it, if that makes sense. And yeah. I think that's just the smartest way to go about it. It's the most unfortunate way, but it is the most solid way. Oh crap. Crap. Yeah, coming back, yeah. Wow. Wow. Again, there was an obvious standout in this episode, wasn't there? That scene was absolutely phenomenal. And again, it's like you don't even really like, you feel bad and you feel sad because it's a character that you've watched for a long time and you've come to really like and come to love their journey. But you also like, there is a feeling of success and like it's weird. It's a weird feeling of like accomplishment even when they do die. I don't know about you guys, but I always feel that it's a weird kind of tugging feeling of feeling bad, but also feeling happy that they did again solidify her conviction and carry the torch and pass it on. And yeah, there's just such a sense of accomplishment. Yeah, it's a weird feeling. It's a good feeling though. I don't really know how to word it. It's been a theme with pretty much everyone's death in this series, honestly, to various degrees of like feeling bad and feeling accomplished. But I feel this one was definitely like a much more in that accomplished side of things. Because I think I relate it to Raphael, because Raphael, I mean, Raphael there was that as well, but I think it was more sadness and that. I mean, it was the positive, he did get to like pass the torch on, but it was more sadness because he was a kid, and with Yolenta, we actually got to see her live what would be considered a majority of your life during these ages. I believe. I mean, the I don't know what the right words for it is, but the age you die at was a lot lower during this time period than it is today. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, incredible episode. I just want to watch that scene again. I mean, I've already watched it twice, but I want to watch it again. I will do that in my own time though. Rewatch the whole episode. But yeah, incredible episode, incredible scene here. I loved the conversation, sharing Yolenta's kind of thoughts and her convictions again. As to looking at history and her conviction to die right here. Again, it was pretty set out early in this episode that she was prepared and ready to die this episode. I love the fact that I was hoping, you guys know for the last couple of episodes I've been talking about Yolenta and Novak kind of meeting again, but I kind of almost love the fact that it wasn't as I expected, that we'd have like some kind of like dialogue or something and there'd be a big moment. It was just a small speck of dust in what is this ginormous universe, yet held so much kind of power with that scene of them just kind of looking at each other here, and that again, that beautiful look on her face as she fulfills her convictions just before her death. It's just like, yeah, it's just awesome stuff, isn't it, man? And as I said, I quite like the fact that it was just like for a split second as well. I really love the scene with Novak holding her hand as well here. This did make me quite sad though, to be honest with you. That like, it's like the realization like comes in. It's like you're quite happy and you're like, it's an accomplishment, and then it's like, oh yeah, Yolenta's dead, and it's just like you see scenes like this, and your heart just feels really heavy. But yeah, I'll move on before I start getting a bit too emotional. Thank you guys for watching though. Again, incredible episode. Let me know what you guys thought about this one down in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys did like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date with these reactions. And I'll be back next week with episode 21. So I'll see you guys then.